Hey, good morning to those of you out there on the West Coast. Good afternoon to those of you here on the East Coast with me. I'm excited. Today's always it's always a good day for training when it's sunny out there. Today we're going to be talking about why you're not winning prime contracts, and really you can equate this to why you're not winning any contracts, subcontracts, prime contracts, etc. One of the things I hear people say, or I get questions asked about success or a lack of success people are hitting, I feel like I'm doing all the right things, but I'm just not getting any of the results that I would expect. I feel like I'm going to all the right events. I'm talking to all the right people. I'm responding to RFPs or proposals or whatever it is. I feel like I'm doing all the right things, but I'm not winning contracts. And that's a really big concern, and it's a legitimate concern many of us have. And if you've been on a roller coaster, you know you have it at some point. And the idea behind it, though, is for me, it comes down to process. And the great news is that I like to say that if you're not winning contracts, it's not them, it's you, right? It's not them, it's me. And that's great news. If it was them, I'd have to wait for them to improve themselves. I'd have to wait for them to get their act together. But when it's me, when it's you, then it means we can take responsibility for why we're not winning. And when we take responsibility, not blame, but responsibility, when we say I'm responsible for winning contracts, then I now am in control. I'm able to take control. But if I say it's them, not me, then they are responsible for my success. They are in control of my success. I don't like that. I don't like other people in control of my future, right? And I don't want other people to be in control of your future. You're in control of your own success. And that's why it's great news when you can sit there and say, it's not them, it's you, right? It's me. And so when you realize that, then you'll also realize that, yes, you absolutely can win prime contracts, or you can win subcontracts. You absolutely can win the contracts you're looking to win going forward. But it means you have to take responsibility and gain control. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I want to talk in a positive way about three problems or three causes for not winning prime contracts in the federal market, right? So the first thing is you don't have a clear, focused offer. And I'll drive into that. But a clear, focused offer means everybody else knows what you sell as well as you do. The second thing is you're chasing the wrong opportunities, right? There's this idea that if you chase multiple rabbits, you're not eating dinner tonight. And you use your own variation if you're a vegetarian. But if you're chasing multiple targets, you're not going to hit any one target. And so that's the second reason that causes us not to win prime contracts or any contracts. And the last one is you don't have the strategic relationships that are out there. You've got a lot of friendships, et cetera, but you don't have strategic relationships. And so I'm going to talk about what are strategic relationships, how to dive into it. But these three problems, these three barriers to you winning contracts, if you can address them, then yes, you absolutely can start winning contracts. If you don't know who I am, my name is Neil McDonnell. I want to welcome you to my federal sales training where I provide tips for success in the federal market. I spent 20 years in the federal market as a small business owner. And since 2018, I've been teaching people like you that government contracting is not a secret. It's just a process. When we follow a process A to Z, we're going to have repeatable, predictable results. And that's what I want for you. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about as it relates to why we're not winning contracts is that we don't have a clear, focused offer. And a clear, focused offer is the fundamentals of everything we teach. If you don't know what you sell, then how can you sell it? If you don't know what you sell, then how can any of the rest of us know what you sell, right? How can the rest of us help you? So let's talk about what a clear, focused offer is first. Just really brief description of this. I often hear, especially I heard this in Chamber of Commerce's because I've been in business a long time. I started my first government contracting business in '98 when I got out of the Army. And back then, we didn't really have the internet much. I mean, it existed, but it wasn't a networking environment. So you went to chambers of commerces, hence the reason we call ourselves the GovCon Chamber of Commerce, by the way. But you went to chambers of commerce, and yes, you hear about this elevator pitch, but one of the things that I used to hear all the time, like all of us did this, is you'd have 75 people or something at a breakfast, and everybody would stand up and give a 1 to 5 second hook. It was a really fast hook. And the idea that I like to say is that a hook gets you on the elevator. If you've been taught that you should have an elevator pitch about your company, then how do you get to tell your elevator pitch unless they let you on the elevator? And so your hook gets you on the elevator. It's that 1 second pitch. And so you want to be able to get on the elevator. An example of how you can lay this out is I help these people this way in order to achieve this. right? So what I want you to think about when you think about your clear focused offer, who do you help, right? I help small business government contractors. That's who I help. I help small business government contractors build relationships within federal agencies in order to identify opportunities they can win, right? Something like that. I help these people this way in order to achieve this. The challenge we have is the this way part. We tend to throw too much in there. I hear small businesses, and no offense if this is you, I hear small businesses say things like, we do cyber, data, and cloud. That is way too much stuff. That's what Booz Allen, billion-dollar firms, say. They say we do cyber, cloud, and data, right? Because that is the big things that government needs. But really, when you think about a clear focused offer, you niche that all the way down. You're bringing that down, not just to cloud, right? But you really want to say, I'm Amazon or Microsoft or Google Cloud. Don't be vendor agnostic, be vendor biased. When you're a small business, you want to be the best Amazon Web Services cloud provider or software developer, right? Are you helping on the administrative side of the cloud? Are you helping on the software development side of the cloud? Are you an expert at migrating legacy apps to the cloud? Be that focused. We help these people this way in order to achieve this. When you understand that you have a clear, focused offer, you should be able to say that in a single sentence. If you want me to do some sort of offline training at some point where I bring people in and you can tell me your clear, focused offer, let me know if that's something you're interested in by just putting focused offer in the chat. And through the training, if I see enough of those focused offers, I'll figure out how to offer something like that where you can just come on and I can listen to your offer and give you quick feedback. All right, so the last one on what is a clear focused offer. If you don't have, like sometimes when we just get started, we really don't know who we're helping in what way and what they're achieving. I mean, to be clear, we're just coming on and we're a network engineer and I want to start a company. That's totally cool. I'm a baker, I like to bake pies, I'm starting a company, right? That's cool. But if you're not able to do that, I help these people this way in order to achieve this. If you can't get that line clear, then be really clear about what your expertise is. Right? So you could have a subject matter expertise around elevators is what I put. I had a customer once who said they do construction and flooring and painting and all these things. And they also mentioned elevator. And in a lot of conversations, I came down to understand that elevators were their preferred choice because it's more profitable. And they were really good and certified at it. They were experts at it. I was like, okay, then just double down on we're an elevator company, not a construction company. Same thing on IT, right? We're an information technology firm. Are you? Or can you niche down? Well, you know what? Our expertise is on Microsoft 365. That's a whole suite of products that Microsoft offers. You could even go down further and say we're experts at Power Platform or Microsoft SharePoint, right? When you're getting started, it is so much better to be niched down. But if you're under 10 million, you want to be niched down. You want to have that clear, focused offer that can be communicated in 1 second in a way that everybody else will understand. And here's why it's important to have that. First thing is it's going to make everything easier on your side, right? If you're a brand new business, pretty much you're just trying to make relationships and get started, right? But as you grow, you're going to have marketing activity, your capability statement, DSBS, your briefing decks, your website or LinkedIn, some of these things, you'll have that activity, including your marketing activity towards talent. You're going to be wanting to hire people, right? When you have a clear, focused offer, it makes your activities easier. You're not doing what I call constructive procrastination, which is going everywhere. And what that means is when I say constructive procrastination and you're going everywhere, it means because you're going everywhere, but it all can seem legitimate because you're not focused, right? But it all seems legitimate. Oh, I'm working over here. I'm working over here. We're doing this thing. You're spending so much time doing stuff that could be considered constructive, but you're just procrastinating on having a clear, focused offer and then taking your business development and driving deep into an agency. Your responses that you write, when you write RFI, sources sought, or RFP responses, if you're focused, the language and the stories you're telling, the graphics you use, all become reusable because you're sticking to your core competency. You stick to what your company is best at, right? So when you have a clear, focused offer, it'll make your own activities easier. The second thing is it's going to make it easier for the rest of us, right? So if you talk to a small business specialist, a program office person, or a contracting officer, and you go in and say, hey, we help these people this way in order to achieve this, right? Or, hey, we're this subject matter expert. When you say that and it's clear and it's focused, it makes it really easy for us to say, oh my gosh, that's awesome. Come on in, let's meet. Or, no, I don't want to have the conversation. Go away. That's a cool answer too. Or, you know what? That's not me. That's Jane. Let me introduce you to Jane. Or let me just give you Jane's name and you go knock on her door. But when you have a clear, focused offer, it makes it very easy and quick for the other people to decide how can they help you. It's the same thing in the chat that I asked you. Put your company name and your core competency, those 2 or 3 words. When I look in, I begin to think about where can I help this person? Where can I help that person? Sometimes I might be a little late getting back to the comments, but I always come back to them. And when I do, I'm like, oh, workforce development. Oh, this person's doing cybersecurity risk management framework. This person's doing elevator services, fasteners, right? And so when I look at these, I'm always trying to figure out how can I make an introduction. And that's why you want to have a clear, focused offer, is to make it easier for those of us who want to help, and make it easier for those who have to decide whether you're a fit for their company or their agency. They can decide that right away. And again, this last thing about avoiding procrastination or constructive procrastination, just make sure that you understand when you don't have a clear, focused offer, you can be busy with a lot of activity. I'm going to go to this event. I'm going to go to this place. I'm going to go here. And you're telling everybody you're friends with, hey, yeah, I'm going to a lot of stuff. I'm doing a lot of things, but that's just activity over results. The whole idea of capture is you move the sale forward. The whole idea of business development is you're building a strategic relationship. You're understanding an agency. You are identifying opportunities that fit into your pipeline, right? When you do that, when you have the clear, focus offer, it allows you to focus on results over activity. Okay, so let's talk about the first reason on why you're not winning contracts is because you don't have a clear, focused offer, right? The second reason you're not winning contracts is that you're chasing the wrong opportunities. And I have 5 ways of looking at this. The first thing is, I'm using a baseball analogy here, but you're swinging for the fences instead of getting on base. And just to get everybody level set on what baseball is, etc. But baseball has 4 bases, basically: first, second, third base, and home plate, right? So 4 places, and you have to get through all 4 to score, right? In our case, you can think of that as getting a contract. So many of us, in order to get on base, that is a small contract. That's what I want you to do, is think of a small contract. You have to decide what is a small contract for you. A small contract and getting on base for a brand new company could be 100 or 200,000. Like if you're an employee and you're an FTE who's in the services side, a $200,000 contract is not an unrealistic thing, because that's exactly what somebody would pay you if you got a job. And so subcontracting in our space is basically getting a job. I can talk to you later about it, but basically it's the same thing, right? It's just how it comes through, the legalities. And that's getting on base. But swinging for the fences is trying to get contracts that are way bigger than where you belong. So if you're just getting started and you're trying to get multi-million-dollar contract, you're swinging for the fences. That means you're trying to hit the ball over the fence so you can skip first, second, and third base and just keep scoring, right? That's not how it should go, right? And the idea is, depending on where you're at, getting on base can get bigger and bigger. So an example is for Booz Allen, just using them today as the example. Booz Allen's $1 billion firm. $100 million contract or a $200 million contract even is getting on base. Anything below that is them just strategically trying to get into an agency or something. But $100 million contract, that's getting on base for them. $1 billion or multi-billion dollar contract is swinging for the fences. For a $10 million firm, $1 million, $2 million contract, that's getting on base because you've got the past performances to support it. So what I want you to do for number 1 here, swinging for the fences or getting on base, is to understand what is getting on base for you. Is it a $100,000 contract? Is it a $250,000 contract, a $1 million contract, $5 million contract? You need to know what that is so that you start swinging to just get on base, not for the fences to get a home run. So I actually have a whole separate training just on that, where I expand on that for a full training. The second thing about chasing the wrong opportunities is you're chasing the wrong revenue stream. I teach that there's 3 ways to make money in the federal market. You can get one revenue stream is subcontracting under small businesses. The second revenue stream is prime contracting with agencies. And the third revenue stream is subcontracting under larges. If you're just getting started, for the first 3 past performances or 3 million, you stay with small businesses. You subcontract under small businesses. And then as you get more experience, more past performance, you can move into the agencies and then finally subbing under larges. As you get to subbing under larges, you'll still go get prime contracts and sub under smalls. But the problem here on number 2 is that sometimes when we should be just staying with subcontracting under small businesses, we're trying to get a prime contract with no real past performance, or we're trying to go to a large and get in and be a subcontractor under a large. That doesn't work that way, right? So you want to incrementally move forward, gaining more and more experience. And so pursue the right revenue stream. Maybe one of my team will put it on, but I also have a handout. I did a whole training on the 3 different revenue streams and how to know which one you belong in if you haven't moved forward on experience. But basically, if you're under $1 million, stay subcontracting under smalls. Stop trying to pursue agency prime contracts. Yes, you might win it. That's not the path to success. That is the path to 2 or 3 or 4 years of being in the government contracting space, feeling like you're not getting traction. But if you go build relationships with smalls and start getting millions in subcontracts, you will gain the experience that enables you to win prime contracts much easier. Number 3, you're choosing opportunities based on just randomness. You're looking here, you're looking there, but you're not choosing it based on a focused offer, right? When you look at opportunities, whether it's in SAM or you're looking at FPDS for expiring contracts or some other tools that are out there, when you're looking and you see a body of opportunities in a long-range acquisition forecast, you need to make sure that the first thing you have is that clear, focused offer. You understand, number 4, what your slam dunk opportunity is. It means that we can win this opportunity because it is right in our clear, focused offer, right? Those two align and we know we can win this. So for number 3, the reason we're not winning is because we keep choosing opportunities to come into our pipeline to pursue that are not really what we do. We don't really know a lot about it, so we struggle to do any kind of capture at all. And then our proposals look like we don't really have experience. Even if you can write it and get it out the door, imagine what it's like when the government sees your response to an opportunity you really don't have experience on, compared to with a company that has 5 or 10 past performances in that space, in that agency, and their response, right? It's going to be night and day right there. So you want to make sure when you're pursuing opportunities that they're always in your focused offer, which goes back to number 4 here. Know what your slam dunk opportunity is. If you know what your clear focused offer is, you can write criteria that says, this is how a checklist criteria, this is how I know this opportunity is for us, because it covers down on all these things. I've done a lot of training on slam dunk opportunities, including checklists that you can use to look at opportunities and measure those opportunities against your clear focused offer. And then number 5, the last one on why you're might be running into losing contracts because you're chasing the wrong opportunities is because you're pursuing the wrong agencies. One of the classic statements we make, and all of us make this. I made this when I was a small business owner. I'm trying to stop this from continuing on. But we all tend to say this at one point, especially when we're new. It's like, oh, that agency is not hitting its small business goals for women-owned small businesses, or that one's not hitting its hub zone goals. I'm going to go there because they must really want to hit their goals. What I tell people is if they wanted to hit their goals, they would have hit their goals. Those 2 agencies are the ones to avoid. I've done multiple trainings on SDBO, woman-owned small business, hub zone, and 8A, saying how do you identify agencies that love your small business type? And this is really important. You want to find agencies that spend enough money that they can afford to slide you in there and you can win contracts. That means don't go after an agency that has $50 million in IT spend trying to win IT contracts, because the competition is really steep compared to what if you, instead of a $50 million spend, it's $1 billion IT spend. If you go in, there's a lot more room for you to fit as a sub or even as a prime, right? That's the first thing. The second thing is you want to identify the agencies that actually demonstrate through their contracts that they care about your small business type. So an example is, I said the Army, hands down, like 2, 3, 4 times as much as any other agency, cares more about working with 8A small businesses than anybody else. And the way I determine that is that they have the most number of opportunities that are 1, sole source to 8A, and 2, set aside to 8A, meaning they've taken it down from full and open to small business to 8A competition. And they've said, we want to work with 8A businesses. This opportunity is set aside. So you want to look at agencies that have those 2 things, along with, that they're buying what you sell on the clear focused offer. By the way, this wheel that I'm putting here, I'm trying to demonstrate that two of the most important things I'm telling you right now about why you're not winning contracts fit right on the wheel of success that we teach in our workshops and how I teach every single day. I've left off half of the process here, but the wheel of success is from the 7-step process. And so opportunities are at the top. If you can't find the right opportunities, you're never going to be able to write winning proposals, hence the reason you're not going to win contracts. But when you can start addressing that and finding the right opportunities, that'll increase your chances of winning. And the next thing, what I'm going to talk about right now, is relationships. Relationships lead to the opportunities. And these are strategic relationships. One of the reasons we don't win prime contracts, or even contracts in general, like subcontracting as well, and we're not winning those, is because we don't have strategic relationships. I want to talk to you about making sure you have those in place. So first off, PowerPoint didn't like that I used the word ain't, but that's what it really is. When I think about this, strategic relationships, what they ain't, those are all the people you meet everywhere out there. You go to a vendor outreach session, you go to an industry at the government, you go to a conference, any of these things. Those people are just your network. They're great, they're necessary, but they are not strategic relationships. They are just your network. SBLOs or small business specialists can never be a strategic relationship. They can be a focus of receptivity, really helpful perhaps to help you navigate it, but a strategic relationship, they have to have the ability to give you something. And those folks are only able to perhaps guide you along, liaison, right? And then the last one is, and this one's a big one, is this idea of the blind leading the blind. Well, in this case, the hungry leading the hungry. If you have a bunch of people that maybe you're working with, you got to remember they're not your strategic relationships. They absolutely need to be your network, and they're a close, tighter network that you're going to work together and try to be supportive of each other. But remember, they are not your strategic relationships. And so your strategic relationships are what deserve the most attention. You really want to build those. So what are strategic relationships? Well, these are relationships with people, right? Not organizations. They're relationships with people. And these are people who are committed to your success. You're committed to their success, and they're committed to yours. The big difference between them and a network is that they have the ability to actually help you reach the success. And so an example is, if it's a small business, they need to be able to bring you in on opportunities throughout the year where you're growing, $500,000, $1 million, $2 million a year easily, right? And when you start having bigger small business strategic partners that are doing 10 or 40 million themselves, and they're still small, they have the ability to really team with you, right? That's what I mean by the ability to work together and grow together. I describe it as big enough for mutual growth. Yours is a little harder, right? If you're just coming in, I'm here to teach you. I'm not here to teach them. But the idea is you want to be committed to their growth. So maybe you can't give them FTEs, but you can give them information. You can make introductions. You can tell them I heard about this opportunity. Hey, I went in and I talked to this person. Even when you think about a large prime, if you're working with a large prime and you're a small business, you have access to small business resources in an agency that the large prime doesn't even know exists, let alone has access to. So if you're able to gain information about an opportunity, you're helping towards that mutual growth and success of the strategic relationship. Where it says committed to working together, thinking win-win, this is really important, right? The idea behind this is that both parties are committed to winning. I've seen people go in and try to have relationships with people where it's win-lose or lose-win, where I'm trying to figure out all the ways I can help you, but I'm not thinking about how you can help me. That's not right. Win-win is the only right relationships type. Nobody should lose. And if anybody's going to lose, you should walk away from the relationship. I put down here, and I've got to watch my time because I only got 3 minutes left, but you want to have 24 strategic relationships, 8 with the agency program office, and 1 agency. I'm only talking about 1 agency at the moment. 8 within an agency, 8 within a large prime that support that very same agency, and 8 with small businesses that are supporting that very agency. When you have that, it will lead to you winning more contracts. The last thing here, the importance of strategic relationships and why they're so important is because they can help you with business development, which is understanding an agency or hearing about opportunities or even developing new relationships, right? And in capture, it's an expansion upon that, but for one opportunity. When you want to take an opportunity and shape it and begin to position yourself for the best chance of winning, You need to have relationships with people in place so that you can talk to them about that opportunity, maybe influence that opportunity through discussions about your solutioning and the way they might want to think about it. And the last one is, especially with industry, right? This ability to have a strong pipeline. If you have 16 relationships, strategic relationships with other people who are committed to having a bi-weekly meeting about your pipeline, their pipeline, your pipeline, and where you're coming together working on opportunities, pretty soon, it's not unrealistic to think that you could have 4 opportunities with each one of those 16 folks out there. That starts adding up to a significant, strong pipeline, especially when you communicate to your strategic partners, this is my clear, focused offer, right? And you're helping them help you. I know we're moving pretty fast, but here's what I want you to remember. If you want to start winning more contracts, you need to have a clear, focused offer. A 1-second hook is the easiest way to know that your offer is clear. Remember that. The second thing is make sure you're only chasing slam dunk opportunities. Those slam dunk opportunities are the ones you know your company can do because they match to your clear, focused offer. And then the last thing is, in order for you to have success and to start winning more contracts, you need to establish strategic relationships. And strategic relationships are those where those people can help you achieve your revenue goals. Not that they're a network and not that they're nice. Those are still necessary. But a strategic relationship is one that can put you on a team and give you 5 people on that contract type thing, right? So keep those in mind as you move forward. If you're getting value from today's training, do me a favor, throw thanks in the chat. Let the team know we work hard to provide this. If you'd like to learn more about how we can help you, just go to govconchamber.com and check out what we have over there. For everybody, just remember, government contracting, it's not a secret. It's just a process. Part of the process is ending on time. I'm going to do that. I will see you in the next training.